Hello, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're returning, it's wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much for your continued support. I hope you're ready for some more soft-spoken ASMR nonsense. In this video, I'll be reading an AI-generated, delightfully absurd short story entitled "The Day the Moon Called in Sick." In this story, the stars of the galaxy desperately try to find a replacement for the moon, who has come down with a case of the moon flu. Before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, I hope you'll give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. I'm planning on producing more nonsensical soft-spoken short stories. One more thing. I've been experimenting with voice cloning technology, using my own voice, of course. The voice you're hearing is an AI-generated version of my voice, but it's still me. Now, sit back, relax, and prepare to enter the realm of celestial silliness. The day the moon called in sick. It was a perfectly ordinary evening over the sleepy little town of Willowborough. Crickets chirped lazily, leaves rustled softly in the breeze, and the stars were just beginning to twinkle into existence, stretching and yawning as they blinked to life. But something was off. The stars, usually quite punctual, were huddled together, whispering in concerned murmurs. Polaris, the North Star and self-proclaimed leader of the cosmic bunch, was pacing in circles, his light flickering with anxiety. "Where is he?" Polaris muttered, his normally steady glow pulsing in and out like a broken flashlight. "I don't know," said Vega, tapping her radiant points together nervously. "He's never late. Maybe he's just taking a really long moon bath." "That's ridiculous," snapped Sirius, who always had a tendency to overreact. "He's the moon. He doesn't get baths. He's made of rock and whatever moons are made of." Just then, a faint ding echoed through the night sky, and a translucent scroll of moonlight unfurled right in front of Polaris. The stars gasped. "Dear night sky, I'm not feeling quite myself tonight. I think I've caught a bad case of moon flu. Symptoms include feeling a little dim, occasional cratering headaches, and a persistent urge to rotate at the wrong speed. Please cover my shift tonight. Thanks a bunch." Polaris nearly imploded, his light sputtering in shock. "The moon called in sick?" The stars erupted in panic. "We can't not have the moon," said Altair, flaring up in a panic. "How will the tide know what to do?" "And what about all the poets?" added Beetlejuice dramatically, always the sentimental one. "They'll have nothing to write about." "I've got a date with a comet later, and moonlight is part of the mood," groaned Andromeda. All right, calm down," Polaris barked, though his own glow had dimmed with worry. "We can handle this. We just need a replacement." The stars blinked at one another in silence. "Who's going to be the moon?" whispered Capella. Everyone looked at each other. Then they all slowly turned their gaze toward the sun. "You want me to what?" The sun's voice echoed across the galaxy with the intensity of 1,000 burning thermonuclear reactions. "Just fill in for a few hours," Polaris said, trying to sound reassuring. We need someone big, round, and, well, luminous. I am not a nighttime celestial body. The sun huffed, sending solar flares rippling through space. I have a schedule. I'm due back in 8 hours for sunrise, and I was just about to settle in for my evening nap. We'll owe you one, Vega offered sweetly. 2, added Beetlejuice. The sun sighed, radiating enough heat to make Mercury sweat. Fine, but if I scorch a few tree leaves in Willowboro, I'm not taking the blame. The stars cheered. Problem solved. Or so they thought. That night, the sun tried its best to play the role of the moon. It dimmed itself down to its lowest setting, barely glowing, but it was still, well, the sun. The moment the sun took its place where the moon should have been, the sky lit up like midday. Crickets stopped chirping, confused. Owls blinked and hooted in frustration. Down in Willowboro, Mrs. Puddlepaw's prized rooster, Cluckles, woke up and immediately began crowing. Sun's up, sun's up, Cluckles cried, hopping around like he was late for work. No, it's not, you feathered buffoon, hissed Mr. Tiddlywinks, the neighborhood cat, glaring from his perch on the fence. Looks like day to me, Cluckles replied, puffing out his chest. Well, it's not. It's still bedtime. Then why is the sun out, genius? Mr. Tiddlywinks narrowed his eyes and muttered something under his breath about poultry, with no sense of astrophysics. After 15 minutes, the stars realized that the sun simply wasn't going to work. Okay, let's try something else, Polaris said, frantically flipping through the cosmic directory. Maybe we could ask Saturn, suggested Vega. Saturn was willing to help, but once it took the moon's place, its majestic rings caused chaotic light shows in the night sky. Meteorologists in Willowboro were baffled. The local news anchor, Mr. Chad Winkle, stared at the sky in confusion. We're experiencing ring-shaped lunar anomalies tonight? Not ideal. Then they tried Neptune. But Neptune, being a gas giant, just looked like a giant blue marble rolling across the sky. People thought it was a UFO and called the authorities. Okay, Polaris sighed after hours of failed attempts. We're out of options. We'll just have to improvise. And that's when they spotted him. Floating gently over Willowboro was a half-deflated silver helium balloon with a smiley face drawn in permanent marker. His name was Gerald. Hey guys, said Gerald, drifting lazily by. What's up? Gerald, Polaris said, desperation in his voice. How would you like to be? The moon. Gerald blinked. Me? The moon? Seriously? We're desperate, Vega whispered. Okay, Gerald said with a casual wobble. But I'm going to need snacks, and maybe a juice box. Done? Polaris promised. And so, for one unforgettable night, Gerald, the helium balloon with a fading smiley face, took his place in the sky. Gerald didn't provide much light, but he floated gently, wobbling back and forth just enough to fool most of the nocturnal creatures. The poets, confused but inspired, wrote verses about the mystic orb of slightly deflated dreams. The tide, while sluggish, still managed to slosh around just enough to keep the shoreline happy. And Cluckles finally went back to sleep, after arguing with Mr. Tiddlywinks for another 20 minutes. By dawn, the real moon was feeling much better. He returned just in time to relieve Gerald, who, having enjoyed his brief moment of fame, floated off into the sunrise with a satisfied wobble. "Thanks, guys," the moon said, taking his rightful place. "I owe you one." "Don't mention it," Polaris muttered, too tired to be smug. As for Gerald, some say he's still out there, drifting gently through the sky, dreaming of his brief stint as the moon. And if you look closely on a breezy afternoon, you might just catch a glimpse of a silver balloon, wobbling gently in the wind, smiling down on the world. The end. I hope you enjoyed this silly story. If you did, please give this video a like, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. More absurd, soft-spoken short stories are in the making. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.